A very good evening to you from wherever you're watching us from. This is Look Up TV and just in time for trending news here on this 10th day of May 2023, a day when the bipartisan teams are engaging on matters, on negotiations by both sides of the political divide. That and many stories, but first of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines. On trending news today, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki and UK Security Minister hold talks aimed at boosting security in the country. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua meets agriculture stakeholders, urging them to make strategies in line with bottom-up agenda. And the Senate Ad Hoc Committee starts public hearings to investigate religious organizations and Shakahola cult deaths. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live across all our social media platforms at Look Up TV on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki and UK Security Minister Tom Tugendhat today signed a cooperation agreement in the fight against terrorism and extremism in Kenya. The agreements include commitments on counter-terrorism worth 1.7 billion shillings a year, defense, international cooperation, community security, law enforcement and criminal justice, cybersecurity and bilateral, multilateral and regional coordination.
The purpose of our engagement today was to review the now ongoing security compact arrangement between Kenya and the United Kingdom, which has defined our areas of cooperation in the matters of the security of our two countries. This arrangement began sometimes back in 2015, was refreshed in 2018, and we've just signed off a new phase to allow Kenya and the United Kingdom to continue collaborating in the fight against terrorism, in the fight against cybercrime, in the fight against organized transboundary crime, including but not limited to trafficking in persons and also illicit financial flows, and a wide array of cooperation to ensure that our criminal justice system is able to help the country to be stable and safe for all our citizens and all other people who are lawfully in our country. It's ourselves to ensure that over and above the framework documents that have been signed, we are going to rapidly develop action plans which should be concluded in the next 2 weeks or so that we can have this program running into the future, making sure that our countries are aligned and looking at our stability from a common perspective.
This document that we've signed today and the action plan that we're going to be finalizing in the coming fortnight is a living document. Because just as our nations have evolved and changed, just as the opportunities for our people have developed, sadly too, the threats have changed too. And they will continue to change. And so what we've done today is we've laid the seed for a foundation that will grow in strength. And it will do two things. It will defend the British people, of course. That is why I'm here. And it will defend the Kenyan people. That is why you're here. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Now on to matters agriculture, and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has urged stakeholders in the ministry to align the strategic priorities of the sector to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, especially on key pillars of agriculture. Gachagua spoke when he met stakeholders from the Ministry of Agriculture, led by the Principal Secretary, State Department for Crop Development, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, Kelo Hassama, and Principal Secretary, State Department of Livestock, Harry Kimutai, at his Harambee House Annex Office.
We want the Principal Secretaries to align your projects with the Kenya Kwanza plan. Food security, universal health coverage, digital superhighway, and the creative economy and housing.
We must feel the impact of this money. The Kenya Kwanza manifesto is centered on how the government will play a role of positively changing the lives of people.
The Senate Plenary Committee has started investigations into the Shakahola massacre. Appearing before the committee, Attorney General Justin Muturi stated that there is a need for the Society Act to be revised to ensure regulation of churches.
It means should have been able to identify the issues going on in this particular church. So do you register and you just wait until the public reports to you that is a problem? I think I need to know that.
To see whether bodies applying for registration meet the threshold that is in the Act. But that generally is a legal regime that defines the current situation. And that perhaps may also explain why there has been such massive proliferation of such societies as we've seen in the country recently, including but not limited to Mekades, this is called Good Life, Good News, Good News International Church, and also there's another one called, I think, is that New Life International Church. Good News and New Life, and many others. Is because the regime under which they are registered is that loose. And as I said, they are governed by a law that is that was passed so many years ago.
On to matters security, and 20 guns have been surrendered to the Turkana Commissioner Jacob Ouma and Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomurukai by 20 youths from the Kakong area of South Turkana. Commissioner Ouma has said that the government will continue with its operation to ensure all illegal weapons are surrendered to the government while assuring residents of their safety.
Tumeanza mpango mzuri ya kuleta NPR katika sehemu hii kwa sababu hapa ndio base, hapa ndio shida yote ya wahalifu inakuwa carried out. Kwa hivyo sisi kusalimisha silaha haimaanishi tumekuwa fully protected ndio tunapeana silaha. Ni kwa sababu tunaheshimu rais, ni kwa sababu tunaheshimu sekta zote na vifaa vyote vya serikali.
Serikali inataka tuishi kwa amani ndani yetu, miongoni mwetu na majirani wetu. Na sisi tumeona bunduki ambayo imeletwa hapa mbele yetu. Mimi nashukuru uongozi wa Turkana, nashukuru vijana na ninashukuru nyinyi nyote kwa sababu mumeitikia wito wa Mheshimiwa Rais wa kutaka watu wakae kwa amani na hii mambo ya kutokuwa na amani ikwishe.
Nimefurahi kwa sababu vijana yetu wamesikia mwito wa serikali kwamba mrudishe silaha. So shukuru Mungu kwa sababu ujumbe hao vijana wetu ama Waturkana wanatii serikali.
Kakamega Governor Fernandes Baraza has urged members of the National Assembly to mind the state of Kenyans before voting on the proposed amendments in the Finance Bill 2023. Governor Baraza has said passing the bill will only put more pressure on the Kenyans, considering the high cost of living at the moment.
As the Chair of Finance, Planning and Economic Affairs of the Council of Governors, we take exception with the finance bill, which is being pushed to Parliament, and I know there are so many negativities with that finance bill. The objective of Kenya Kwanza government was to spur economic growth. The objective of Kenya Kwanza government, from what the President has been talking about, is to improve the lives of Kenyans and the cost of living to come down. But looking at the proposals in the Finance Act, where taxes payee is going to be increased from 30 to 35%. We are going to have 3% deduction on housing. There is an increase in the fuel levy from a paltry 4% to 16%. What that tells you, it is going to be impossible for us to even imagine that the cost of living will come down. We are now calling upon the National Assembly to stand up and be guided by the principle of consciousness, so that they don't push this agenda on partisan basis. National Assembly have a responsibility kuangalia maslahi ya watu wote. All the 50+ million Kenyans cannot have a very smooth living, especially if all these proposals are pushed through. We appreciate that the Kenya Kwanza government have an agenda to deliver. Lakini let that agenda be delivered without compromising on the lives and the cost of living.
Now on to matters. House levy, and the proposed 3% housing levy continues to generate more heat, with Naivasha Member of Parliament Jane Kihara proposing that it should be voluntary. The United Democratic Alliance legislator joined other leaders in, of course, questioning the levy that is contained in the Finance Bill of 2023, while calling for its review. The proposal that seeks employees and employers to contribute to the National Housing Development Fund has raised the fury of the opposition and trade unions, with calls to scrap it.
That is the only thing that...
Saying we are going to review, the government does not do any business. It gets development funding from taxes. But also, coming from where we were in the drought, we need to relook. And I have seen there is a lot of communication from members of Parliament, which means we are going to sit and see where we can shift, what we can do. It is not anything I can say authoritatively here that this is what we are going to do, but there is going to be a lot of consultation. Of 1.6 million, much as we know they need more, this is what we could have afforded. But as a constituency, in the rest of the schools, which are also very many in our 7 wards, we launched a bursary of 53 million. So we are giving them, depending of course the area they come from. We call it a poverty index. This area is in this informal sector of Karagita. So they need more money, and I wish we could get more. There is still a lot of need.
Za CDF sio enough, lakini kwanza ni shukuru mbunge wa hapa. Tangu hii shule ikuwa in existence, hatujaipata such an amount 1.6 million shillings. Hiyo ni amount kubwa sana, na tunashukuru the MP atusaidie na asichoke, aendelee tu kutafuta. Sahi yako kwa serikali, lakini tunamshukuru sana kwa consider that amount. Haitatosha kwa sababu umesikia amesema ni ya watu 600, ni wanafunzi 600, tuko na wanafunzi 1600, so kuna full 1000 yenye ita struggle, na pia hao 600 haijatosha, sio the full amount, lakini it's a step in the right direction and we are really happy for her.
Now, on to matters of sports, and the third fastest woman in the world, Shelian Fraser Prize, is in the country. The 36-year-old will be participating in the 4th edition of the Kipkeino Classics this Saturday at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Shelian, who is the most decorated woman athlete in the world, will be joining other famous athletes such as the fastest man in Africa, Ferdinand Omura Omanyala, Mary Mora, Yaroslava Mashukech, and other athletes will be participating in the tournament.
I'm always excited. How are you guys?
You look excited, Shelian.
I'm always excited. How are you guys?
They call her Shelian Pocket Rocket Fraser Prize. It will be indeed a spectacle to be at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, on Saturday to witness all the magic at the Kipkeino Classic. That is all that we had for you this particular evening here on Trending News on Likup TV. But remember, our bulletin at 7 p.m. in Kiswahili and Likup News at exactly 9 p.m. That is the primetime bulletin will be coming your way at that exact time. For now, do stay with us because a lot of programs are lined up